Today, since I was in Nashville, I decided I'd see if I could locate some of the places that Dolly Parton would call home. I decided that we should try to start from the very first place that she lived at when she first came to Nashville. The first house we're going to be taking a look at is the house that Dolly's uncle actually had rented, and she would live in the upstairs part of the house. We're actually on Allison Place Road now in Nashville, and this is the street the house is supposed to be on, and we're going to take a trial run first down it and then maybe make a loop around because we can't be stopping in front of people's houses or pulling in their driveways or anything. So we're going to take a ride down the road and then we'll make a loop around to get a better look at it if we find it. Well, we just made our second turn onto Allison Place Road as we found the house that she lived in at the time. And I would like to mention a couple of things about it. When doing research on it, it said the house was built about 1935. It also said that I think it was 2017 and even 2022, the house was renting for $1,800 a month. So I have no idea what her uncle was paying for rent at the time when Dolly lived here or what it rents for today. And now that we're getting closer to the house, I decided to let the window down and give you a closer look at it. This house also would have been the house she was living in when she met her future husband, Carl Dean, as it was said that she met her Carl on the very first day that she was in Nashville. The house is a stone or rock house, and I will mention that the first house we come to on the right is not the house that Dolly and her uncle lived in, but it's like two houses down from that one on the right. When we came down the road that we saw the house where she would live at. There is a brick house with a fence in front of it in between the two houses, but this is the actual house where Dolly's uncle rented. Here's the driveway. We're trying to go real slow without getting anybody in the house alarmed or anything like that we're there. But as you can see from the mailbox, it's 1710. And here's a look at the front entranceway. And we're going to go down to the side view of it just a little bit better, and you can see where there would be a set of steps going up to the second story. And as I mentioned earlier, Dolly would be living in the second story part of the house. They have now built new homes next to it, and as you can see, this one here is for sale, it looks like. But we were still afraid to pull in the driveway or bother anybody. So now on to the next house. The second house we'll be looking for is at 3146 Glencliff Road in Nashville. And this is where Dolly and Carl Dean would live from 1980 to 1996. So they spent like 16 years in this house. And while doing research about this house, I found out that it was built about 1941, and that Dolly and Carl would end up paying $50,000 for it and would later sell it for $140,000. Since the house was bought in 1980 by Dolly and Carl, I'm just wondering, did she write the song 9 to 5 while she was living in this house, as that was when it was written? And also she starred later in the fall of that year in the movie with the same name, 9 to 5. And that was her first movie performance she did, I think. I'm actually looking for a gray stucco colored house, and so far I haven't seen it. And there appears on that mailbox 3148, which is just a couple of numbers off from Dolly's house number. So see if the next house is that, and it does not appear to be. So I guess we'll have to turn around and see if we can find it one more time. We did our turnaround, and now we're headed back down Glencliff Road to see if we can find Dolly's house one more time. And I should be looking for a stucco house that is right next door to this 3148 house, but I can see on the other side, even though there's some trees, there's no house up in there. It's the only one that's turning the opposite way to the other road. It's built close to that end. but where Dolly's house would have been is now looks like been torn down and apartments have made there. So I guess we'll head on over to where Dolly lives at the present time. Now we're headed to 9510 Crockett Road in Brentwood, Tennessee. First, we're going to be taking a good look there at the guest house on Dolly's property, which is a 63-acre area here in Brentwood. And you can see some barns there off in the background. You may have to pause it to zoom it to make it look better. And just catch a glimpse of a small steeple there on a small church that Dolly has built also on her property. But we're mainly here to look at the house that Dolly and Carl had built in 1999. And this house with the 63 acres sold to them for $400,000 at the time when they bought it. And we're trying to go as slow as we can so you can get a better glimpse as best you can from the road of Dolly's house. And there you can see it. And with traffic coming and going in behind you, it's hard to stay very long at any one spot. Besides the main house, the guest house, some of the barns you saw, the small steepled church that she has built on it, Dolly also had a playground area built for her nieces and nephews when she moved into this area, as well as she supposedly has a tennis court and swimming pool. Of course, that would be out back and you're not going to see it. We did pull it in the driveway just up above it, and there is a gated area and there's security cameras and all, so we're probably being watched, but we're not breaking any rules or anything and trying to break in or go in it. But there's the playground area that she had built for her nieces and nephews. As we turn around and head back down the road to try to get another glimpse of Dolly's house and maybe see it a little bit better and there won't be so much traffic behind us, I'd like to mention a few things about Dolly and Carl. They would get married May the 30th of 1966 in Ringgold, Georgia. And I read that the only people present was her mother along with the preacher and his wife at the ceremony. Carl Dean would end up dying March the 3rd of 2025. It was just a few months short of his and Dolly's 59th wedding anniversary. I'm going to try to give you a little bit better view of the house once again. And whoops, went past the driveway. No traffic behind us are coming, so that's a good thing. We can back up and see the house, and as you can tell, it looks like it's decorated a little bit there for the 4th of July that's coming up soon. Now we're going to look at a few things that's nearby Dolly's location where she lives at now. And this, like I said, is in the Brentwood area. And just one road over from it, you can make an entrance into like a gated community. As you can see, there's fencing all up around there. But there is a, looks like a pretty nice golf course for the people that live in that area. As we continue our drive, I'd like to mention that Dolly Parton was one of 12 children born to Robert Lee and A.V. Lee Owens Parton. Dolly and her siblings were raised in I think it was a 2-room cabin in Sevierville, Tennessee. And the reason I'm showing you the Dollywood pictures is there's a replica of that house at Dollywood, but you can't see the original one because it's behind a really tall wooded fence area. But the final thing I'd like to show you in my video is that they have honored Dolly in Sevierville, Tennessee with a statue of her. This statue of Dolly can be found on the courthouse lawn there in Sevierville, Tennessee. I'll let you enjoy a couple of more pictures that I took while in Sevierville, but I'd like to close out my video with the final words. Thanks so much for watching and have a good day.